sorry, someone's got to turn their mic off. Who's gonna... There we go. Adequate notice of this meeting was sent to the Asbury Park Press and the CoStar, our official newspapers, and notice of this meeting was posted on the bulletin board of the municipal building. Take roll call. Councilman Brennan? Councilman Farrelly?
Here.
Councilman McCracken?
Here.
Councilman Kinney?
Here.
Mayor Walsberg?
Here. All right. Thank you, April. If everyone could join me in saluting the flag of our great nation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Just a moment of silence for our troops, their families, and all our first responders. Thank you. All right, under workshop, and most of you know that we've been looking for a new public safety building for all of our, for first aid and our new Belmar EMS team to be housed. And so we looked at a couple different sites around Belmar. We found out that the corner of 12th and Main, the Belmar Auto Building, was up for sale. And we started taking a look at that. We've had some of our professionals look at it. Ryan D'Elia, he took a look at it, talked about it. And we're looking to purchase the building and put the EMS and the hook and ladder volunteer fire company in that building. We've talked to the firemen, asked them their opinion on it. We explained how the building would be laid out. And the reason why that we are taking a look at doing it that way, where EMS would be in the front half of the building and the hook and ladder would be in the back, is because then we could sell off the 11th Avenue Firehouse and reclaim some of the money that would cost for renovations. So we have Anthony Bush, who's an architect, who's been working with our engineers, and Ryan D'Elia and the fire company and first aid to see what everybody's needs would be and if it was feasible in doing something like this. So I'm going to bring Anthony on now so that he could show us what design he came up with after talking with everybody and seeing if it would work out. We looked at that building only because it's in the center of town. It's across from the school. It's easy access for EMS to get to everywhere they need to be in town and in Lake Como. So, and Ryan's also been working on a regional EMS service. So, and he's going to talk about that for us a little bit too, on where he is with that. But if Anthony could come on and show the council, all of the council, of what designs you come up with after speaking with everybody.
I'm here. Can everyone hear me? Mic check. We're all good?
You're good, sir. Yes. Yes.
Nice to meet everyone. Appreciate you asking me to be involved in your project. And basically, I'll get right at it. We looked at this building on the corner, and we're basically going to try and use the best parts of it and take down some of the stuff that we feel wouldn't be advantageous to put money into to rehab. So we kind of came up with some designs that uses the older part of the structure, the big part of the structure. I should say that's the newer part. And then the smaller front part, which was the actual original gas station, it's just a little too old and a little too condensed to be of any value to us. So we did kind of come up with a plan that really works well. It's kind of like broken down into fire on one side, EMS on the other side, and then the corner would be the joining piece where everybody would use the building, bathrooms, training rooms, kitchens, showers, and stuff. And I can go over the plan with you, which you guys will see on the meeting anyway. And then the town asked me to do a little investigation to a possible, what the building would look like. So we did some elevations and some renderings so everybody can get a feel for what we're trying to do. And that's kind of where we're at now. We've done a whole bunch of design, and everyone's kind of helped out and put their 2 cents in, and we've come up with a plan that we really like. And it allows us to use most of the building and make some of it new. It's a great location because we're dumping out on a Main Street and 12th Ave separately, so the setbacks work well for the trucks, and we just feel it's a good fit, and we hope you do as well, because it's tough to find spots, as you all know. You don't have a whole lot to choose from. So I like the spot, I really do, and I know we can make it work architecturally and functionally, and it'll be a big asset to your town. So if anybody has questions or whatever, feel free. And then if you'd like me to, go through the floor plans with you, I can do that, or you guys let me know.
Okay, yeah, I guess basically just we'll show, what you have drawn and what your vision is.
Okay, so this is basically the 12th Avenue facade. And if you look towards the left side with the 3 garages, those are basically in the existing building that we will refurbish. And then once you get past the garages, everything to the right is new. So it's about 50-50. And then if you want to move along to the second one, this would be a site, okay, that is our Main Street elevation. So now you're looking at the 2 EMS bays, and everything to the left of that would be the multifunction space that we call training rooms and such. And then this right here is our plot plan. So if you look at the fire truck coming out of the building there, to the left of that would all be parking for all the responders. And then to the very right on Main Street would be the 2 EMS bays, entrance and exit, where the trucks would come in and out. And then the courtyard around the front would be all dressed up with planters and pavers. And we, make a really nice plaza up there because it's right downtown. We want it to really look nice, We really want this building to, let the town know that they invested a lot of time and money, and that it's going to be a really nice building. It's going to be beautiful. So that being said, if you want me to run you through the floor plans, I can. This is basically a plan of what is existing right now. And as you see, the big building on the left there is a very valuable space to us, but the retail shop, the old spot, it was just too small for us, and it would be too much time and money to rehab it, and we would be fighting it the whole way. So we came up with the next sheet you'll see here would be our floor plan. Now what this does is there's our 2 trucks and our bonus bay in the left side, which would be fire. And then they have storage that's already there. We're going to use that for storage. And then on the right, going to Main Street, is your EMS bays. And then the rest of the stuff you see in the middle is women's, men's bathroom, handicap accessible, obviously. And the front is the entranceway off the 12th. And to the left of that would be a big kitchen for everyone to use. And as you come in, you're going to come into a very big training room. It's 24 by 30 something. It's really big space, which they need. And then underneath that, there's going to be a basement for storage down there as well. So we got them some additional storage there. And then if we keep moving on here, we are Okay, so this is basically a larger version. And then go one more, please, April. Thank you. Okay, so what you see in the front right would be that additional downstairs basement area. And then in the back left, that staircase going up will be going up to a mezzanine. And what that will do is afford us more storage upstairs for everybody. So we're just trying to maximize storage and functionality with the envelope that we can provide. You know, that was the reason for the additional digging the basement out and for adding the mezzanine. It's just more functional storage for equipment, training, and whatever they need. They're you know, today they have a lot of equipment today. They really do. Based on my discussions with all of them, who have been great, by the way. They've all come forward and been positive and put their 2 cents in. And then, you know, that pretty much sums up what we're trying to do. There's our elevations again. Material-wise, I think we'd like to do some stone and some stucco and then a really nice cornice. And that gable roof that you see popping up is going to be kind of that beacon. That's going to be the beacon that everyone knows that this building's new and it's the firehouse building. And it's got a red roof on it, and it's going to be nice. It's going to be beautiful, I promise you. And then the patio in the courtyard, you know, we're going to have nice big planters with trees in them, and we're going to do some nice pavers. There you go. Thank you, April. We're going to dress it up nice. So we'll delineate it and possibly some benches wrapping around the corner, or you know, whatever we think, and we'll make it so that everybody in town knows it's there and it's new and it's ready to serve. So anybody, you know, any questions or whatever, I'd be more than happy to take questions, or if anything I miss, you know, let me know.
All right. Any of the council members have any questions for Anthony on the plan? I know he went through it pretty quick. There was a lot that went into it, but if you guys have any questions.
The first question I have is, I guess, as a percentage, how much of the renovation is going to be new construction?
Probably 50%.
50%, okay.
The whole right side is basically going to be new. You know, the old building is really just a large box, but it's there and it's usable, and it costs a lot of money to knock down and rebuild. So it does serve a good purpose. It fits the trucks, and we can shore it up and make sure it's good and healthy. We had an engineer come in and do a complete evaluation of it, which I've reviewed with him, and we're on board with that. Whenever you're dealing with bathrooms and showers and kitchens, obviously handicap accessibility and all the stuff that's required by code, you know, really doesn't let us use renovation too much. You know, this building has to meet all the necessary codes and requirements that, you know, are in the 2018 code. So we pretty much, we're stuck with new on that end of the deal.
So on the left-hand side where the fire trucks are going to go, the height of that structure, is that going to have to go up, or is it tall enough to handle all of the latest vehicles?
It's tall enough and deep enough to handle all the latest vehicles. So that was a big consideration in leaving it. It's 20 foot high inside now. So we'll even have room for a mezzanine and the trucks, which was, you know, that was something that was a big selling point to that piece of the building.
Okay. And as far as tool storage, and I forget what they call it, but where they fill up their Scott pack tanks and whatnot.
Yeah. We're gonna have all that. You know, they're all gonna have lockers. We're all gonna have equipment lockers. The EMS is gonna have all their CO2 machines that they need to charge up the truck every time they come home. You're going to be able to come home from a fire and take a shower if you had a tough, if you need to. and the training. There's going to be lots of areas to train kids, the new responders that are coming in. That's a big part of keeping the system going and bringing in new people and giving them, areas to watch videos and do training and whatnot. So that was a big part of the square footage requirements, for sure.
All right. I think that's all I have.
Okay, anyone else?
I have a quick question. So it's going to be lifeguard and water safety training there too?
Yes, absolutely. The police department, everybody will have access for the training room there. The police department has to go through a lot of EMS training, fire training, and just as long with water rescue. And so that's why the training room is going to be so important over there.
Yeah, we're going to probably, it's going to be available to everybody to get in there and be able to use that space effectively. And there's going to be functions being there too. There's a full
kitchen. That's my other question. Yeah, so
they have the ability to do fundraisers, to do functions, to do whatever, that's a big part these days. It really is. And I'm good friends with a lot of people up. I'm from Red Bank, so, I've helped out the little silver people too. And they're constantly doing stuff in there to raise money and do what they need to do and do training. So it'll be available to everybody, as Mark.
So those rooms will be open to the public too, if they want to have a fundraiser or I don't know.
I would guess if you went through the fire, through the fire company, I don't know if people would. I don't think people would be able to just walk in there,
right?
Because there's a lot of expensive things in there, and that would probably be under the guise of the fire and the EMS and the police. You don't want just people walking in and fooling around with stuff. So I really can't speak too much for that, but I'm sure that's kind of under the guise of the people that are in charge. So.
Anyone else?
I had a question. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I got to tell you, as you already know, I've been in this building many, many times, having my car serviced. And when this came up as an opportunity to relocate our first aid and fire here, it's such a great idea. As far as I'm concerned, we've hit the jackpot. My question is actually, what's the cost of this versus what we were pursuing as far as acquiring the old first aid property over on 9th Avenue? Are they about the same price?
Well, the purchase price is going to be $1.2 million.
All right, so it's already less. That's good.
Yeah, and we're figuring the construction of it is between $600,000 and $800,000. But where will be less is selling off the 11th Avenue Firehouse. So we're hoping that will offset the construction costs when the Hook and Ladder Fire Company moves over.
So it's conceivable that this will actually cost less than acquiring the old building. We're going to get basically a new building with all the bells and whistles for less than we were looking to spend before. Is that correct?
That's the hope, yes.
And one other question. I asked Mrs. Administrator Kirschenbaum about this afternoon. I just wanted my wife wants to make sure there's a rock over on the corner of 9th and D with a plaque dedicated to the original Belmar First Aid. I'm hoping we'll be able to move that to the new site if that's at all possible.
Absolutely.
Okay, great.
We'll all have a fun time figuring out exactly where we want to put it too. And I look forward to your input on that.
Well, I'm sure. Okay, great. Thank you. That's my questions. Thank you.
Okay.
Councilman McCracken, anything?
No further comments, Mayor. It was great to see these plans. I'm excited, that it is not a residential neighborhood. I realize, of course, there are residential homes on 12th Avenue, but it is up toward Main Street. It's located near the school, which is, I think, great for the kids and the teachers and faculty and staff there, that they have something like that right across the street, or if there's an emergency in the school, folks can get there quick. So, anxious to get the comments from our residents, but it was great to see these plans, and nice to know that this plan ultimately may work out to the residents' benefit better than the original proposal of purchasing the first aid squad building. So it's good progress.
All right, good. I know there was a question if the public could use it, but you brought up a good point about being at the school, because the school kids always took field trips to fire and first aid. So hopefully that with training rooms, and we could enhance that their field trips to those over to the new building. So I know it'll be used for that. All right. There's no other questions for Anthony Bush. I do appreciate you coming and letting us know.
Yeah.
I know, Ryan.
I'm assuming everybody has the PDFs, Mayor. If I need to kick them out to anybody, just let me know. I can email them to anybody so they have them. It's not a problem. I know you guys all have them and you can give them to them, but if you need anything from me, don't hesitate to ask. If you need me,
Yeah, an electronic copy would be great if someone could send this to all the council members.
Okay. Yeah, we'll get it over to you, Councilmember Craig. Or we'll get it out to everybody. Yeah, and Ryan, you have anything for? I know you're on here, Ryan D'Elia. Do you have anything for Anthony before he goes?
No, I do not. Thank you, and I look forward to working with you.
All right.
Thanks, Ryan.
Well, I have Ryan for a minute. Maybe you could just update us on where we're at with the regionalization plan. I know that you just give us a quick overview. Or before you do that, thank you, Anthony, and I guess you could sign off now. But thanks for presenting.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it. We'll see you.
Okay, thanks. Ryan, since you're here and we're in workshop, maybe you just update the council on where we're at with that, because I know you've been working really hard on that.
Of course, thank you guys for having me. Good evening. Wish we could be in person, but so I'll just give you a quick overview. We're currently still in the planning stages. There was a small group of municipalities that banded together to look at the future of emergency medical service, kind of seeing what our municipality went through and how can we look towards the future to bridge a gap. So borough administrators, police chiefs, Office of Emergency Management personnel from multiple towns got together and began planning on how a sustainable, effective service could be created. So in conclusion, where we're at right now is we're still developing a budget and operations plan that should be finalized shortly, that we're going to come back to council with a full report on. But our most important goal, what we're looking at is, the most effective, sustainable, and providing the best care for our residents. With the small communities, we do see it being very difficult for one single municipality to run a service. So as we all collaborated together, we came up with a joint venture in developing a plan.
All right, good. I'm glad that's moving forward. Yes, go ahead, Councilman.
So Ryan, assuming the new first aid building gets built as we just saw, what is the footprint or radius, I guess is the question, that that first aid could service?
So we're looking at the operations plan isn't set in stone yet. We're looking at having a north rig and a south rig, this being the north rig, based out of Belmar, and a south rig out of another municipality, if they do join. So we will have two, possibly roving. What we are very lucky to have is that the hospitals are very close to us. We have Jersey Shore right here in Neptune, and we have Brick on the other side. So we're in between two very good hospitals with very quick turnaround times.
Just to add to that, the two would be paid squads like Belmar would be and Manasquan would be, but the in between and backups are all be volunteer, right? Right? Is that basically what we're?
Correct. Yeah. So the operational plan, we are the operation. plan we're looking at would be having the staff rig and then being supplemented by the volunteers and working together for a joint venture with each other. So like I said, we're still in the planning process for that and trying to get the details ironed out, but we're looking, positively at this venture.
All right, great. And we have on for tonight the increase in fees. Maybe you just talk about that a little bit. That we don't do any back billing from Belmar, Lake Como, and some of the towns that we're involved in. But the fees are for EMS are going up, and maybe you can just explain that.
No problem. So just like you just said, fees are going up. I mean, we're seeing it all over the place, whether it's ordering stock or anything like that. The industry standard for EMS has raised. So the allowable amounts set by the hospital and the insurance companies have raised. We were at the very low end. We were at the low end of the spectrum. So these raises are all in accordance with our billing company, who we use as our subject matter experts in this for medical billing. So we might see some supplies on here that might appear to you that might be overinflated. There's different things that are factored into the price of, let's just use neck collars, for instance. You have to pay for the EMT to put it on, pay for the, the training, the education, the storage. There's a lot of hidden fees that go into it. So because we're charging $25 for an item that costs $3, you're not seeing the extra added costs in there. And just a quick thing on our billing, what we do for residents of Belmar and Lake Como and any towns we have an agreement with is that we bill their insurance company and only get back what their insurance company pays. We don't press forward into collections or balance bill those residents for that service. So there's different set rates through Medicare, Medicaid, and then private insurance as well, what we get back. And depending on the insurance plan, all depends how much money actually comes back. So because we're sending a bill out for $1,100 or $800 does not mean at all we're getting anywhere close to that. We're seeing about a 30 to 35% return.
Yeah, and just want to make sure that everybody understands that there's no back billing. So if any of the council members have any questions for Ryan before he goes? Okay. All right. Thanks, Ryan. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
All right. I think that's all I have for workshop. Anybody else have anything for workshop? All right. Okay. April, we'll move on. Do we have anything for any petitions?
There are no petitions.
Okay. Thank you. Approval of the minutes.
Can I have a motion to approve the minutes of the January 18th meeting?
Motion.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you.
Reports of council. Councilman Carvelli.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Hoping everyone made out well with the storm this past weekend. None of my committees have met since we last met. We do have the Harbor Commission coming up next week and a planning board meeting coming up the following week. So I'll have reports on those at the next council meeting, but as of right now, I don't have anything. So that's my report. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Council President McCracken.
And Mayor, yeah, the time has gone by the last couple of weeks for sure. The next Belmar Housing Authority meeting is Monday, February 7th. So I'll have a report about the Housing Authority at the next meeting and an update on the Shade Tree at that time as well. So nothing more to report at this time.
Thank you. Councilman Brennan.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I also haven't had any my commission meetings, so to report that way. But I absolutely do want to congratulate DPW and all our first responders, so police and fire, but in particular DPW for the great job they did with snow removal. I mean, we got a lot of snow. I mean, I'm glad it's going to be gone soon, but honestly, it was an amazing job. I think they did a great job, and that's considering we have a significant number of our amount of our workforce out because of COVID, and I don't think people realize that. It's a big number of people out, and they still managed to get everything all cleaned up. I mean, I know people might have individual complaints about their particular situation, but I think our DPW did a great job, and they're really be congratulated. Let's see. I also wanted to thank John Sabia. I noticed that he put out, started putting out information about all of our summer events coming up. It's really, it's great. And I have to say that there's other events that are still in the planning stages that aren't on that list. We're going to have a lot of things happening this summer. And I think I hope everyone's with me that we're guardedly optimistic that this bad time that we've gone through the last month or so is really coming to an end. You know, you look at the numbers, they're coming down around here. I think we're looking at a really great summer, and I'm very, very optimistic about that. So I want to thank John for doing that. And that's it for my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Kinney.
Thank you so much, Mayor. I also have not met with any of the committees or any meetings because of the town borough hall being closed. But I also did want to just check in and report that I think our new Nixle Belmar alert system has been working really, really well. So I think this weekend, if everybody registered, they should have gotten all the alerts via email. I know I did, text message, my landline. If you want to opt out, remember you always have the option to opt out of any of those alerts or change the way that you want to get the alerts. So just a reminder, all the original Code Red, old Belmar Code Red system landline phone numbers were all loaded into the new Nixle system. If you do not wish to get them on your landline anymore, then you can go back in and opt out of that and re-register the way you wish to receive your notifications. But I thought this weekend it worked really, really well. Everybody was up to speed about what was happening with, you know, where you were supposed to park your car and how much we were supposed to get. And I think everybody was fully aware of the blizzard that we got. And I think I agree with Councilman Brennan that the DPW did a really good job. It was a lot of snow out there, and there's still a lot of snow out there, but they did a really good job. And worked, I know some of those guys worked 24 hours, so they did a great job. So we do appreciate all their hard work in doing the snow removal and getting everybody going back on the roads. So that's all I have to report, Mayor. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Just a couple things for me. I want to echo what Councilwoman Kenny and Councilman Brennan said about the DPW. I mean, you know, it was a lot of snow, not big places to move it to, but they were out there almost 20 hours trying to clean up our town and get everybody moving, and they did a great job. They were still out there today. And they actually went down and cleared off the boardwalk. So if anybody wants to walk in the morning or walk the boardwalk, it'll be clear for them tomorrow. So they did a great job. Just a couple things. I want to thank the Peter Avakian group, our engineers. They designed the 10th Avenue and did all the construction plans for the new commemorative clock for the 150-year anniversary. And they did it all for free for us because they wanted to donate their services to do that. So I do really appreciate them doing that. I know I failed to mention at the last meeting, we have a new superintendent of the school, Jimmy Alvarez. I want to welcome him to the Belmar community. I had the opportunity to speak with him, and I think he's going to do a great job. We'll miss Dave Hallman. He did a great job, but I think Jimmy Alvarez has his heart in the right place. He has a lot of history with Belmar, and I think he will do a great job for our Belmar schools. So I wanted to welcome him. And the other thing that I wanted to bring up is George Komataz's daughter, Athena. I'm sure you all read in the Co-Star, saw the Co-Star. She won the competition she's a pianist, and she won her competition at 17 to play at Carnegie Hall in New York in March. So it's always good to see the kids at Belmar really excelling, especially in what they want to do. So I want to congratulate George and his wife and his daughter Athena for that great accomplishment. And Borough Hall is now open. It opened up yesterday morning. Hopefully, like Councilman Brennan said, the numbers are starting to go down, and it looks like we will be going back to in-person council meetings the next meeting, because all of our scheduled meetings are going to be happening back in Borough Hall. So we're going to open it up for everything. And but we'll continue to watch the numbers, and we'll if we see that it's going in the other direction, we'll make those decisions as we go. But it looks like for the next council meeting in the next month, we'll start opening it up so we can have all our committee meetings. And I think that's all I have. So we'll go on a public session on any of the resolution items.
Okay, if anyone from the public would like to comment on a resolution that's listed on the agenda, please click the raise hand button.
See no hands?
Okay, can I have a motion to close the public session?
Motion.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And can I have a motion to approve the resolutions as listed on the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Councilman Brennan?
Yes.
Councilman Carvelli?
Yes.
Councilman McCracken?
Yes.
Councilwoman McKinney?
Yes.
Mayor Walsifer?
Yes.
Next, we have second reading and public hearing. This is ordinance 2022-01. This is an ordinance amending Chapter 2, Section 7, entitled Rules of Procedure. This is open for public hearing. If anyone would like to comment on this ordinance, please click the raise hand button.
See no hands?
I have a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And can I have a motion to adopt the ordinance?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Okay. Councilman Brennan?
Yes.
Councilman Carvelli?
Yes.
Councilman McCracken?
Yes.
Councilwoman McKinney?
Yes.
Mayor Walsifer?
Yes.
Next, we have first reading and introduction on ordinance 2022-03. This is an ordinance authorizing the acquisition of property known as Block 125, Lots 7 and 8, also known as 1200 Main Street. Do we have a motion to offer for first reading?
OSHA.
Second.
Councilman Brennan?
Yes.
Councilman Carvelli?
Yes.
Councilman McCracken?
Yes.
Councilwoman McKinney?
Yes.
Mayor Walsifer?
Yes.
Next is first reading and introduction on ordinance 2022-4. This is an ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits and to establish a cap bank. We have a motion to offer for first reading.
Make the motion.
Second.
Okay, Councilman Brennan?
Yes.
Councilman Carvelli?
Yes.
Councilman McCracken?
Yes.
Councilwoman McKinney?
Yes.
Mayor Walsifer?
Yes.
And last is first reading and introduction on bond ordinance 2022-5. This is a bond ordinance amending bond ordinance 2021-11 for the acquisition of real property for municipal purposes. Do we have a motion to offer for first reading and introduction?
Mayor, April, I have one comment on this ordinance. I don't know if you want to introduce it for first reading and then have me make my comments, or make one comment beforehand. I'm not sure what the Robert's Rules of Order is.
Mr. Councilman McCracken, make your comments beforehand, please.
Okay, just a simple comment based on the excellent presentation we just got from the architect. On page 2, section 3, third line, it states for the acquisition of a new first aid facility. And, obviously this is going to be a first aid facility, a firehouse, and a community building. So just wondering if we wanted to substitute first aid facility with public safety complex or public safety facility or something like that, rather than have it just be first aid.
Yeah, it should be a public safety complex. Yeah. Should be the public safety. Patrick, do
We can introduce it on first reading with that amendment.
That's section 3A.
Section 3A, thank you. Got it. So that was just public safety.
All right, do we have to do anything before we vote to introduce it? Or just introduce it with that change?
We
Yeah,
can just
just a motion.
introduce it with that change.
Okay.
So do we have a motion to introduce the ordinance as amended?
Motion.
Second.
Okay. Councilman Brennan?
Yes.
Councilman Carvelli?
Yes.
Councilman McCracken?
Yes.
Councilman McKinney?
Second.
Mayor Walsberg?
Yes.
Now it's open for public session. If anyone would like to speak, please click the raise hand button. When you are promoted to speak, please give your name and address.
Okay, I see a couple hands, stand by. Ellen, stand by. Are you there?
I am.
Are we ready?
Okay, name and address?
My name is Ellen Zavian. I live at 217 and a half 9th Avenue.
Okay, go ahead with your question.
April, are you able to bring up my deck that I sent you?
I did forward it to the mayor and council, so they have it.
Okay, so I can't show it simultaneously like the architect?
Want to show it?
We don't do that at public session. You can request that it doesn't at workshop, but we have taken a look at it.
Okay, so Mayor and council members, thank you for having me. I am so excited to hear about the pianist and that the mayor reiterated kids in Belmar excelling, because that's what we're here about. And I look forward to making this presentation on behalf of the skate park. My name is Ellen Zavian, as you know. I'm a sports attorney. I was the first woman to ever represent NFL players. I represented the women's softball and soccer players and the gold medalists in the '96 games, negotiated their collective bargaining agreement, first commissioner of Division II NCAA conference. I was a certified arbitrator in AAA. I represented the skateboarders, the X-Gamers, BMXers, and inliners in 2000 to save their name, image, and likeness intellectual property rights with Disney and ESPN. And I'm a court-declared expert. And my main focus for 3 decades has been, sports and being an attorney in sports. And I'm a professor of over 3 decades at George Washington University. And I'm considered an expert in this field. And so I'd like to present to you a little bit about the skate park, but first looking at what we have in Belmar for the kids. And I am, by the foremost, a 4th generation Belmar resident, so I'm not new to the city at all. And my parents met in Belmar, and it's probably the reason why I'm here. So excited for that. And I have a 16-year-old that's a skater, a boarder, and a break dancer. And so 10 years ago, I started organizing the break dancers, and we are now in Paris 2024 Olympics. So when you say it's impossible, I say it's absolutely possible. And so when I organized the skateboarders in 2000, it took us 20 years, but we are finally in the Olympics and super excited about Tokyo, and then we're going to be in the Olympics coming up in Paris. So skateboarding is here to stay, and it's the IOC that has embraced skateboarding because that is the wave of the future, just like snowboarding, just like surfing and volleyball. Football and those sports which have a high rate of injury and concussion and so forth definitely have had some decline. So I want to talk a little bit about that. But when you look at the Park and Rec Center, it really is about community outreach. And it really is about engaging the community in different ways. And I think the skate park could do a better job and what that means to the community overall. It's currently, you have several facilities. It obviously sits since 2009. People donated money from $78,000 from what I understand to help build the skate park. And to date, we have not seen anything beyond the base of it being repaved, which may have been required because it's what we call brown property. It has some contamination, but we have not seen repairs to the park. So one thing we would like to see is what repairs have been made to the park versus money being raised to redo facilities, what I consider playgrounds. And the like. We know that you had a gala for youth sports and you raised money for the youth sports, but somehow that money got used for adult sports in pickleball courts. So I know my 16-year-old is not interested in pickleball.
I just want to correct you on that. No, it was not used for pickleball. I got to make a correction on that. It was not.
Okay. So I thought the money raised was for youth sports. Mayor, what was
it? All went to recreation.
All went to recreation. Okay, thank you for the clarification. And so right now you've got 15th and East Street playground, 4 beach playgrounds, McLaren.
If I could just stop you for one moment. I mean, we are in talks with a private company that wants to come in and take the whole thing over, redesign it, and we know we have to do something with the skate park, and it has to meet the standards of our insurance company. So it's not that we're not looking at it. We're trying to figure out what to do, but recently we've had an inquiry from a private company to come in and do the whole thing and take it all over and run it for us. So we're looking into that. It's we understand that we want to do something with it, but we also are controlled by, because we're a municipality, on our professionals to tell us what we can and cannot do. There has been money and repairs made to that over the years since 2009. They've been rebuilt a number of times, but it's to the point now that there's rules and regulations for municipalities running skate parks. So we have to, just like on any other playground, there are certain standards that is driven by our professionals that we have to abide by, and it's the same thing with the skate park. So we are on top of it. We're taking a look at it, and we're also in talks with a private company to take it over. So it's not that we're not doing anything, but we're trying to do it so that it's right. The way that we're going to do it is right this time, and we don't have to keep closing it.
Well, that's great to hear. So I do teach a lot about code and violations in my sports law classes at George Washington, and I think, I've read over the regulations and so forth. My only concern on the privately held is, are they going to charge participants to come in and enter the park? And obviously this community is about bringing in kids that don't have the funding, as well as the kids that may have the funding to participate in a sport. No different than going to the playground. There's 8.87 participants in skateboarding across the country for 2020. And most of them are about 76% men, 23% women. Obviously, the Tony Hawk Foundation has built over 3,500 skate parks worldwide. Over 600 worldwide, and there's about 3,500 skate parks. I helped build several with some of my skateboarders, Andy McDonald and the like, who are one of the best in the business. The other thing I wanted to stress was there are police municipalities that are using skateboarding, and the police come in and communicate with the kids, and they actually are skateboarders themselves. And there's a lot of news out there about police using skateboarding to communicate and bring in community relations. Also, we're a town of a lot of murals, and my girlfriend in Florida just got a $13,000 grant for racial justice, and she painted the skate park that they have, and they have issues with helmets as well. So she's getting local artists to paint the helmets, and then they're running an auction off of it. And then obviously there's lots of camps and teaching mechanisms, and then you can have repair and working towards jobs and things like that in the nature. So in the end, I think it's great to hear that you're looking at this. I'm not sure what it would mean if a private entity took it over. I know my son works, but I'm not sure he would have the money to pay to go to a park. Where I live in Maryland, we have a park, and Steve Francis, an NBA player who came from our town, maybe the pianist can grow up in Carnegie Hall and become famous and make a donation back to the community. But we're not going to get that Olympic athlete unless we invest in that. And our surfers could be Olympic athletes coming soon. So
And I think you're making your point.
Thank you. I'm almost done, sir. And so I believe that we can look forward to being part of this conversation as opposed to the conversation sort of being behind closed doors. And I'd like the parents and the boarders to be participatory in this process. So thank you for the opportunity.
Ms. Sabian, I have one question for you.
Yes.
You mentioned that you're a resident of Maryland, or are you a resident of Belmar?
I am a resident of Belmar, but that's where I have my house. My house is, and I also live in Maryland.
Okay, so you're a full-time resident of Belmar?
No, I am I don't know what you call it, part-time resident in Belmar, but I own property for 4 generations.
Oh, so you're domiciled in Maryland, you're not domiciled in
Right, but
Belmar.
I'll be moving up to Belmar soon, because I'll be teaching at another institution and working out in New York. So I work from both places, to be honest with you. We're in the world of mobile work and remote work, and I have work in New York, and I often stay in my Belmar residence for such.
Okay, thank you for your comments.
Thank you very much for the time.
Thank you very much. Let me get the next person. Stand by. Alrighty. Linda Sharkus, stand by.
Good evening, Linda Sharkus, 400 4th Avenue. Good evening, everybody. This question was for Chief Scott, but I see she's slipped away. But perhaps, Mayor, you might be able to answer this. I was wondering if tickets were written for people who didn't find places for their cars off the street, because there certainly were a lot of them sitting around in obstructing the cleanup of the streets this past couple days.
I haven't heard of any, but yeah, that would have been a question for Chief Scott. You can email her and find that out tomorrow. I'm not sure if they did or not.
Okay. I think it's time, because many people didn't pay attention to the message. And it makes it more difficult for those who are trying to be good when they drive around the vehicles and then block somebody else who's parked in their driveway from being able to get their car out. So, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Stand by. Coming to Mr. Tom Sawyer, stand by. And Tom, you there, sir? Here you are. Hello, sir.
Howdy, guys. Happy New Year. Jody, welcome aboard. I'd like to ask about the
Hey, Tom, can you just, we know who you are, but just name and address for the record,
Okay,
please.
Tom Volker, 527 8th Avenue, Belmar. And
Go ahead, thanks.
I'd like to know, well, number one, I do want to also congratulate the DPW on getting the streets cleared. I think they've done a fine job with difficult situation, like Linda just mentioned about the parking. You know, I pull my car on a driveway and somebody else comes and parks in the spot. And, you know, it's like I'm not really accomplishing anything. But that's what the rules are. So I don't know what you do about that, but it's got to be difficult knowing who should be in that spot or not.
The business administrator just informed me, and I don't know if Linda's still listening, but Tina Scott just called in and said, yes, tickets were issued.
Over 100.
Over 100.
Well, I mean, it's not helping if you don't follow the rules.
Yeah.
Also, will a team, I know the guys are really still busy, but will a team go around to unblock the intersections for pedestrians?
I know they were working all day today, and they're still working on all the snow removal, so
Okay.
hopefully they can get out there. But like we said at the top of the meeting, I think we're 7 DPW workers short right now that are out with COVID, or maybe not having COVID, but their family members do, so they're in quarantine.
Okay.
We're going to be working on the school. There's a problem up at the school with getting these children walking in the road. And DPW has assured me that they're going to be working on all the intersections. There's just so much snow, there's no place to put it. But Tom, the school's a priority tomorrow morning because of the young kids walking in the street. There's no pathway to the sidewalks. So the Chief Scott's going to have more officers down there at all the schools to make sure the kids are safely getting onto the sidewalks, and I've talked to the DPW supervisors to make sure that's a top priority tomorrow morning.
Okay, also in the way of noise, as Linda said, there was a lot of more of the loud cars were back again about a week ago. And it would be nice to know how many tickets were issued for those situations. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Tom.
Thank you, sir. Stand by, everyone. All right, Maria, coming to you.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep.
This is
Yes, go ahead.
Maria Rontanaro, 1246 Pine Tree Way. I just wanted to piggyback on the crosswalks. I know Mr. Kirschenbaum had just mentioned it. With this new building, if we acquire this new building right across from the school, and we're having the construction, I mean, I'm personally, it is hard doing drop-off for Belmar Elementary School. Drop-off and pickup have been challenging with parking and trying to get the kids to safely cross, no matter, without the snow. This has been a challenge for us. Is there going to be a comprehensive plan for a safe pickup and drop-off consideration if we're going to put such a massive facility right there across from the school with emergency vehicles?
I mean, we're planning on that. It doesn't affect any type of parking down there, and there's the back lot is going to have all parking for the employees and in the building and for the firemen. So I don't think it's going to disrupt any of the parking because we took a good look at that.
Will all the parking then in front of the building still be public parking?
Yes, yeah, all the parking that's going to be around the building will still be public parking.
Okay, except for where the garage basins are, right? That's
Yeah, and I don't think there's any public parking there anyway because it's all driveway space now, so it's not going to change.
Okay, thank you. That would be my main concern. Is it would be rough to put public safety and not consider that we have an issue already with the crossing guards do a wonderful job, but it's a hard job for them in front of the school. People are not watching where these kids are crossing, and so it would be really important to me to make sure that we have that in our minds for future planning. Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. Stand by. Seeing no more hands.
Can I have a motion to close the public session and adjourn the meeting?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everybody. Hopefully we'll see you in here next meeting.
There you go.
Have a good night, everybody.
Thank you very much, everyone. Have a great night. Be safe.
Thank you.
Record.